Joey Reese and Pickle Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joey Reese and Pickle Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening.
Hi there, fella. What's up?
Hey. All right. So I've been waiting.
Oh, you've been waiting.
You have been.
You're
for me
holding
to
it
fit-
in?
What?
Oh. This is, we're supposed to, you'll be like, hey, everybody, welcome back. Patronizers. You know, you say something like that. You're not
Yeah.
even going to do it.
Okay.
Try
Ladies
it.
and
Hey.
gentlemen.
Okay, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the patronizing episode number 28. Today,
Pickle and boot shop.
I want to tell you about
You forgot to
something.
say pickle and boot shop.
This is the Pickle and Boot Shop.
Okay, good.
We're your hosts, Don Q
Don Q.
and Corey Feldman. And
Romando.
you sent me a text last week.
Yeah,
out
I
of the
did.
blue.
Okay. It's getting
Out
real
of blue, you
serious.
send me a text that says, have you listened to the podcast, the telepathy tapes, or you have to listen to the, let me
I
pull
said,
it
I
up.
think that you
Let me pull it
have to. But I
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I use strong language, Joe, because sometimes you don't do things that I demand of you.
I know.
And sometimes I just am like flat out, like, I demand that you let me sleep in your bed with you. And you are like,
Right.
I locked the door. Bye. In
Okay.
We-
You put,
this. Okay.
let me see.
Guys, this is the part.
Okay.
Okay.
On Sunday, May 11th,
And now go. Yeah.
Sunday, May 11th at 3:51 in the PM, you send me, dude, please listen to the podcast, the telepathy tapes, as soon as humanly possible.
Oh, I said, please.
I'm not kidding. It will change your life. Wait until episode 9.
Okay.
I thought, I didn't go back and read it. I thought I was remembering episode 8. So as I'm listening, I'm like, okay, here comes episode 8, the one that Reese, and it was good, but I didn't know what you said. Oh my gosh, this is going to get you. And so I listened to 8 and I'm like, I don't know. And then episode 9, I'm
Gotcha.
thinking you told me 8. And then I listened to 9, not knowing you said 9.
Oh.
And 9 was, oh my word.
So let's,
Explain it to the people.
all right. So I was looking for a new podcast and flipping through the Apple Podcasts. I was out working on the garage or whatever I've been doing. And it was like the telepathy tapes. And I don't even remember what the blurb is on the page, for it. But it's basically this lady is a reporter and she gets this idea from somebody that says, hey, there's these nonverbal autistic kids and the people that care for them think they're reading their minds. Right. So
Yeah.
she's like, I
Yeah.
wonder if somebody's doing anything about this. I wonder if there's like any studies or anyone I can talk to or anything. So she goes into it like pretty non-judgmental, but not really with an agenda, just to find out. This is going to
A
make an interesting
fact-finding
story.
Mission.
Yes.
Fact-finding mission.
She did, I think for the first episode, she hires like a film crew and she got somebody. So they filmed this and then they made a podcast and the film is being edited and going to come out. And there's a season
Film
2.
meaning a documentary. It's
Yes,
a documentary
correct.
film, not a film with actors.
Yeah. And so that kind of piqued my interest. There is that podcast that I tell you I listen to called Otherworld. So that whole thing is just like people telling their weird stories. And the guy that hosts it, Jack Wagner, he's pretty like he tries not to have an opinion. I mean, he of course, like curates the stories and stuff, but like he wants people to be able to feel like this is a safe space to tell your weird stories about like the time you thought you saw a UFO. Or one of those stories was a person that had cared for a nonverbal autistic kid, and their story was like, this kid was reading my mind. And I was like, pretty cool. Like I don't disbelieve that, but then here's this other thing and it piqued my interest. I was like, so this is another person reporting on this, or they want to do a study on it. And I find that to be interesting. So I started listening to it and then could not stop. Like I listened to them all in one day. Just, yeah, maybe 2 days, like while I was working out in the garage for like a weekend. But like by the time I was on 9, I just was like sobbing on the floor for a half hour. Easy. Like, so you go ahead. I want to hear about what happened for you.
To kind of piggyback on what you're saying and an explanation for it and what it's about, we're not doing this. I mean, I guess in the sense of a spoiler, this is a spoiler because we're going to talk about it, but we can only talk about a fraction of what is in there. And when you go and you listen to it, nothing that we say today is going to ruin anything. It's not like a linear story. We're not going to spoil anything. It's this amazing compilation. And the woman who does it puts it together brilliantly. And so this thing starts off like, take me, for example, who knows nothing about telepathy. Nothing. I don't know the difference between telepathy, telekinesis, whatever. If you ask me about telepathy, I would probably say doesn't, Jean Grey have that in the X-Men, like that type of thing. Didn't know anything about it. So I'm coming in completely open-minded. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in a lot of like conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Anything like that. I like to think of myself as someone logical. I think our listeners believe that as well, because I have had my mind changed by you on different topics. I have had my mind not changed by you on different topics. So I think I listen, I take in information, and I make my own kind of judgments and stuff. And so the way this lady lays it out is like episode 1, you like start to dip your toe into this pond of ASD, autism spectrum disorder, nonverbal students that kind of range in different ages. And you start to dip your toe into their lives and start to hear some stories about some things that have happened in their life. And then the second episode will like go to other families where like even more stuff. And then other families on the next episode, even more stuff. It looks like you're going to say something.
No, I am just like, I love hearing your take on this, because I felt the same way. And I'm like, I think that my journey has been like super scientific and skeptical to where I am at this point where I'm just like, and there's so much, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's aliens or not, but like, I was curious about this, and that's part of me just saying like, I don't know, but it's so cool. So the lady's name is Kai Dickens.
Yes.
You can check it out. There's like a trailer for the film if you go to the telepathytapes.com. So like telepathy is, I think, like it describes the ability to like hear someone else's thoughts or to push your voice into someone else's brain, like without speaking, to communicate without words. So she had heard this, like this story, and it's anecdotal. This kid, like a mom was able to, with her nonverbal autistic kid, feel like they were reading her mind. And she's like, that's interesting. I wonder if anybody's doing any studies on this, because it sounds like this person that she knew that was saying this, I think, was telling the truth, and she wanted to study it. So she found a doctor, like not a PhD, she's a medical doctor. She's a psychiatrist, and she was studying it. Correct?
And
Or
a brilliant
neurologist.
one at that.
Yes.
A brilliant one at that. Top of her class at John Hopkins
Yes.
University Medical. Ends up going to Harvard,
Uh-huh.
Harvard Medical.
Neurology.
Neurology, where she studies with some of the most brilliant minds in the field of neuroscience and all these different things. And this lady, it's without a question, she's like, yes, this exists. And I think what hooked me is, I'm going to be honest with you, 15 minutes into the first one, I was hooked. I was not skeptical. I did not think of this. This does not come across as you're trying to convince me that there's aliens. This does not come across like that. This is something that when you finish the first episode, you're like, why isn't this on the front page of every newspaper? Why doesn't everyone know about this? Why aren't nonverbal human beings being taken out of solitude and crappy healthcare facilities because they're looked at as like these busted waste of human beings, when they make Einstein look like a kindergartner?
Yeah.
And the knowledge doesn't even begin. And so I'm getting way ahead of myself. What I thought was amazing was right off the rip, this is not verbatim, but it's to the effect of, whenever I think of like telepathy, I think of I don't know. I guess I can't put into words like what I think. I think it's like I have a thought in my head and I'm going to push it into yours, or you have a thought that you push into mine, and you just kind of think they're memories, they're things that are in your head. When they break it down into like the scientific, that like all that's in your skull, like, I mean, I'm not saying anything right now. I'm not about to say anything that's groundbreaking or anything new, right? Our memories and our heads, our brains are just, it's goo. We have like an organ, a muscle in our head. Within that muscle, there are no memories. I cannot open up your head and pull out with my fingers a memory, right? They're not these physical things. They are all energy and impulses. They're electromagnetic impulses that are firing off in your brain.
So science, I'm going to interrupt you for 2 seconds, Joe. So like the scientific thought, like, and comes across, like she'll talk about people who are matterists. What is it? Matter? Like they're
matterists.
Matterists. So the consensus in science in our culture is that everything is matter, that we start with like this pyramid of like physics is first, and then chemistry, and then biology. And that like everything can be explained in that pyramid. You know, like, first of all, we're going to go with Newtonian and Einsteinian physics, and that's going to explain this. And so like, and gets up to biology. So like for biology and neurologists, like this lady would think your memories are stored in your brain, and it's just chemicals. It's just like a switching on and off of like an atom or a certain molecule, that in the way that your brain stores memory, it's like the same way that computers work and store memory, and like it's binary, it's on or off. And if you can write a 15 chain code of on and off, it means the letter A, and then it keeps going. And scientists feel that that's how your memories are stored, and that you are just chemical reactions. You are just accessing those memories or acting on those memories, and different parts of your brain control your personality or your drive to, like you have this lizard brain that is like, I'm hungry, or I would like to have sex today. You know, like that kind of stuff is kind of curtailed in like the way you were brought up or your genetics, and then how your memories have been stored. That's the general kind of operating system that we're working on. That's like the general consensus of science, is that like you may exist or not. Like your conscience is a sum of all those things. So this lady who is this brilliant neurologist is like, hey, I want to look at this. Like these kids, these parents that are saying, or these caregivers for nonverbal autistic people, why are they saying their kids can read their minds, or they're talking to them without being able to talk? Okay, so it's enough of a phenomena that they could do science on it. And you were saying like 15 minutes into it, you're hooked because this lady that Kai Dickens, that is the host of the thing, she witnesses it. Like she's like, okay, we found this kid, and goes to this doctor and they do this test where they're showing Uno cards to the mom, like in another room, right?
Yeah.
The kid, and this is a big thing with these nonverbal autistic kids, is that they are, because of where we're at with trying to figure out how to help special needs kids. It used to be that like those kids, you know, they'd just be like, there's not much we can do with them, and they'd be institutionalized. And now there's all this therapy and people trying to help them be able to communicate, like using picture boards or then letter boards, or now there's like a lot of iPad programs or computers that they can be taught how to type into. So these kids that previously, you know, when you and I were growing up and in school, would not even be able to go to school, or they'd be like in the special ed class in the back and they'd be playing with, you know, whatever dolls, not doing anything.
Markers,
Mhm.
markers and drawing,
Yeah.
coloring.
So then since the 90s, there's been this kind of blazing movement to find out if they're able to communicate this way. And of course, yes, these kids can, and they're learning. And then the thing that they're figuring out is because these kids can communicate, they're saying things that they know things they shouldn't. Like, for instance, this kid that was like, hey, what Uno card is your mom holding right now? And the kid would know, like, know in Spanish. Who had that kid? Remember, he had like, or she had no concept of Uno. Ironically, only spoke Spanish and was from Mexico. They don't have Uno. I think it's called One down there. But she could read her mom's mind. Like, she was seeing what her mom saw.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of explodes from there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That was like the first one. And so episode 1, you hear this simple test that they do with these Uno cards, and you're sold. You're like, okay, this is a real thing. And then, like you said, it explodes. It just goes from there. But what I was saying about like the impulses is you don't have these physical thoughts in your head. So if you're driving and stuff and you're like me and you have to have things kind of explained a little bit better, you don't have the physical memories in your head. They're all electronic impulses that are going on in your head. And so what it's basically saying is these people are kind of saying that this is going on all around us. Like walkie-talkies, to get one walkie-talkie to the next walkie-talkie, a walkie-talkie is simply taking in a radio wave, an electrical impulse. And so they kind of say it in the first episode or two that our bodies can be in tune with that as well. And the electrical impulses, you touch a smartphone and it lights up. You put a latex glove on and touch the phone and it doesn't do anything. You take that off, there's electrical charge coming off of our bodies. And some of us, you know, and it seems to be nonverbal, are like radio towers of being able to get that, where those of us that are verbal and have a lot more going on can't seem to get those. We can, and they explain that in the show, like, hey, I haven't, like you might wake up one day and think like, oh man, I haven't talked to Reese in a while. And all of a sudden you text me and it's like, that is bizarre. I was just thinking about you.
Yeah.
They talk in this documentary from something as simple as that all the way to, I mean, you guys are going to be blown away to the nth degree where these people are literally speaking to God.
Yeah.
Literally speaking to God. I soaked in every bit of this 10, the first season's 10 episodes. They're each an hour. I soaked in all 10. I listened to them all. It took me about 3 days, I think, to listen to all of them. And, I mean, it is absolutely, you're never at no point. And here's the thing, man, I don't want to, what's a way of putting it? Like, I don't want to,
You want to
I'm just going to, I'm going to caveman my way through it. So I'm just going to say what's on my mind and then try and clean it up.
Okay.
I don't want to like prejudge anybody, right? I don't assume everyone's going to think like I do. You might listen to this and think of it the exact same way as I do with UFOs. Like, I don't believe in it. You're going to listen to this and you might be able to be like, well, I think they were cheating on this test. Well, I think they did this. Well, I think they did that. But when you listen to this, they take every precaution to make sure that what they're doing is on the up and up. And if you listen to this and the heart that is speaking, there's something different. It's not someone who's trying to sell you snake oil. These aren't people who are trying to like make a buck. This is just ultimately, fast forwarding all the way to episode 10, these are people that want all of us to know about love. And that's what's crazy. You press play on episode 1 of a podcast about telepathy, and by episode 10, you're on the phone or you're on the floor crying. You're in your car, tears welled up in your face on going to your next roofing job. And you are in awe of these children, these students, these 15-year-olds that their comprehension, like what's going on in their brain that they can't get out verbally, and their bodies are broken and busted and they don't work right, but their brains, they've talked to Jesus. I mean, it is mind blowing.
Okay, guys, if you're going to listen to it and you don't want to spoil it, you should stop now because I'm going to spoil it for you. But I can't. Like, you can listen to the whole thing and just, it will blow your mind away. There's nothing I can tell you or Joe can tell you about it that we heard that will make that go away. If you don't want to hear anymore, go ahead and quit listening to the Patronizer edition, and we love you, but I'm about to talk a lot about it. Okay, so here goes. What tripped me out, guys, is that like they start talking about like, okay, well, maybe these kids just have like a really good connection with their mothers, and they're still trying to explain it in terms of biology. Like, well, that kid was they were in their mom. Maybe they're getting visual cues, and they keep making the tests harder, like where the kid is in a different room and the kid can still do it. They're not touching their mom. Now, so some of these kids, part of the therapy for them to get to the point where they can do the typing and stuff is somebody has to touch them. And that seems like manipulative. But one of the things that is covered is like these kids, when they get to the point where they can communicate, number one, they're super intelligent. They're not like dummies, like Joe and
let me interrupt. When Reese says super intelligent, this is what's bananas, and you will hear. They are born knowing 5 languages. Like, there are children that they are born and they're in these bodies and they are 2 years old, and they know Japanese, Spanish, English, French, and they chose to speak English because that is what their mother is
Yeah.
speaking to them at
Yeah.
like 2 years old.
So not all the kids are like this, like super savant like that, but they're all highly intelligent and they're all highly emotionally intelligent that she talks about. And like, so they're then like, as soon as they're able to communicate what's happening, first of all, they're thinking, okay, these kids formed a really good bond with their parents, but the kids are reporting like, no, what's wrong is I'm not in my body. Like that whole thing. And they'd be like, hey, buddy, now that you can talk and you've calmed down, why were you flapping your arms around back there? Because I couldn't feel them. Or I can't feel my mouth. I'm not in there. It's like their connection. And this is what's trippy is because like as scientists, you believe you're inside your brain. You're conscious. The brain is the seat of your consciousness. And what these kids are coming back with is that is not it. Like they're just connected to it. And I talk about this theory I have where we're basically possessing apes. I think this kind of adds to that theory that I have that we are just like animating the bodies of these apes, that our souls possess them. And so these kids are reporting like their bodies don't work because they're not quite connected. So if a caregiver is like touching their elbow, that reminds them, oh yeah, I'm still in this thing. I'm in this body and I can move this arm around. I can type out what I'm thinking. But the craziness is they start talking about this place called the Hill. They'll be like, how do you know? Like these two parents from across the city were just like, hey, your son said that no, they were like states away, weren't they? Like your
States
son
away,
just told me to call you and said that they're best friends. Our kids are best friends. What? And the kids were best friends because they met in this place that they call the Hill. And the Hill is this place like that the kids can only describe
not a
as
physical,
like,
not a
Right.
physical place.
right. Like they go and they are with the other kids and they hang out and talk and they learn Japanese or they learn and they're like anyone that's read a book, they can just show you all the contents of it immediately. Like it downloads into them. So these kids are like super smart savants. They're displaying this. Like they're able to type it out and say like, yeah. Do you want to know what that is in Greek? There's no reason why that kid could know Greek, but they do. There's no effing reason except they're telling the truth. So then they know each other. All these kids from across the world know each other from going to this place. Insane. Like not just there's telepathy that people are sharing thoughts, but that like they are confirming this is what autism is. Like you are a soul and you are not completely plugged into that body.
Like you're halfway between heaven and the earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then dudes, this is the craziest. So, and I'm sure this is what got you crying was the kid that they all loved. He was just this big, he was somewhat verbal, loved to go in the hot tub. He died. He drowned. And the parents of all these kids were friends and they're like, we got to tell them. And when they went to tell him, they already knew because they were in wherever he was there, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, he told us he was going to die. And now he's here and he's beautiful and he's high-fiving all the kids.
Yeah.
Like,
He would like love high-fiving people.
and where the fuck that is, he was there
Yeah.
alive, and they were not sad. Like, they were like, one of the girls was his fiance.
Yeah.
She knew he was gonna die, and then was telling the parents, like calming down the parents. He's alive. He's here. He has a job. All the new kids that come in, he gives them high fives and shows them around.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. And to add to that, that is the part that obviously got me. And then what it was so in that whole situation, the mother that had called some of the friends' families to let them know that this kid, John Paul, had passed
John
away.
Paul. Yeah.
And they had already known it. And one of the friends was almost like an interpreter. And so one of these other autistic kids that she had called the family, and this kid interpreted back and basically said, yeah, we already knew this. John Paul told us XYZ. He told us to tell you that he's okay. He's not broken. His body isn't broken anymore, that he's free, that he's a child of God and he is free. And then to go beyond that, this kid also tells this mom that in our everyday, our family members that have passed are around us. And so the mom had laid down to take a nap, and John Paul knew what was coming. And so mom laid down to take a nap, and John Paul came in and sat at the edge of the bed and rubbed his mom's arm and, kind of gave her like like a comforting whatever. And she was like, John Paul, I'm just going to take a nap for a little bit. He got up. He went down to the hot tub. They believe he had a seizure.
Yep.
And he seized in the hot tub and he drowned. He has a different story. He told his friend a different story, that he didn't have a seizure, that he didn't drown, that it was all a bigger plan. But here's what's crazy. This is what I'm trying to get at. This friend said that while this happened, so the mom wakes up and the mom and dad find John Paul in the hot tub, and they get in and they're trying to get him out, but he's big. He's like 6'8", I think they said. He's 6'8". He's this big, gentle giant, and he's a big boy. And they're trying to get him out, and they can't because they're slipping in the hot tub on the slippery sides and stuff. They can't get him out. When this boy is relaying this information to the mother, he says, yes, your like great uncle, who was a cattleman, who was worked on a ranch and dealt with cattle and stuff. This is what hit me. He was in there with you, giving you all of his strength, trying to push John Paul out of the water. And then your grandfather was in there trying to pull as well. So she's thinking she's by herself trying to get him out. And all these family members that have passed are trying to pass their strength onto her to get him out of the water. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Like things that no kid should have known. No kid, autistic or any other way, should have known about her family. And this kid is away. He's not anywhere near her, doesn't know her, has never been to her house.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing. And the thing is, when you read the description, it's a scientific documentary about the science of this, and there's all this, but it starts to bleed into the spiritual. And the woman who's doing it, Kai, doesn't sound like she's a Christian. She doesn't, at no point in this.
I believe she was an atheist before this.
Yeah. And so going through this, she never speaks. She never downplays anything. She just speaks the facts, and she gives what these kids are telling her. And they have story after story of meeting God, of all it's bananas. It is mind blowing.
Yes. There's like, they ask, like, do other forces come in? Do other, like, are there other personas in there or people that get in there with bad intentions? And they are like, no, there's these guardians that are these huge guardians that are stationed around the hill, and they protect us. And they're like, well, do you only talk to other kids? And they're like, no, there's like grandpas there, grandmas, and then there's the rabbi.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? The rabbi tells us all kinds of things. Like, holy fucking shit.
And
dude.
it sounds bananas to have, Reese Roper and Joe Yerke kind of telling you guys this. It just sounds like a hodgepodge of different ideas. But when you're listening to this, I'm believing every word. They have homework time. So because all they want to do is learn, because their brains are so far advanced beyond any of ours, all they want to do is learn. Like I said, they're literally born with all this knowledge of different languages of how things work, of memories of being in the womb, memories of being 2 weeks old, things like this. They have all this craziness. I forget where I was going with that. Shoot, I forget what I was going to say.
It was good, Joe.
Yeah. Shoot, I forget where I was going with that. Nah. Hopefully it'll come back to me. I can't even remember a thought from 30 seconds ago, and these people are absolutely brilliant. Oh, yeah. So they have homework and or it's study time. And so because a lot of times they're institutionalized, they're put away and given a coloring book, or someone's just there to wipe their mouth, and they just think that this person is just living out their time before they pass. And inside their minds, they're going places and learning. And they said that like they would, almost like a meditation, like they go away to this place called like the Hill. Or one said that they went in a room one time and there were different hats, like in this, this different like realm, I guess you could say. And they went and there were different hats. And like the first hat was like Mark Twain. And they put the hat on, and and Mark Twain like told them how to write. Like Mark Twain like told them how to write a story. And then the next hat was like somebody else that was like amazing in their field from history that has passed. And they put that hat on, and like, I'm making up an example, but like William Beaumont was there to give them an entire like biology lesson and how the human body works, everything about the human body. They put on the next hat, engineering, like all these different things. It's all I can keep saying is it's bananas. You gotta listen to this, you guys. This community that we've built, this isn't like a goofy little kind of dumb community. I don't think there's anybody that listens to this show that I think I'm like the dumbest one in the community. You guys that listen, you guys are so heady.
It's Sonny.
Nuts.
Sonny is the dumbest, guys.
Sonny would, I stand corrected. Sonny is the dumbest. But this community is so heady. And this is going to be right up your alley. And by the end of this, I'm going to make a really weird connection here, and I might totally be overstretching. But by the end of this documentary, it's talking about a paradigm shift. It's talking about a completely different shift of the human brain and the way we process things to bring about a future that I believe is prophesied in the Bible. And And it takes a little community like ours to hear this and believe this, to start making that what's talked about ripple out. It talks about it in the 10th episode, in the 9th episode, in the 10th episode, that like if somebody hears it here and they just keep it in, and somebody else listens to the telepathy tapes and they listen to these kids and they just keep it inside, like, oh, that was cool, like a good book, and then you just put it on the shelf. And then when it's brought up in the future, somebody else, oh, did you listen to this? Yeah, I did. These kids are like, you have to get our story out there. They don't want money. They don't want stuff like that. They literally hold the secrets to heal people.
They don't
To
even want their
bring
bodies
people
to work. Like they're not,
Yeah.
that's not what this is about. They're not like, hey, we found the cure for autism. They're not like there's a cure. They're like, you guys need the fixing. Like
Yes.
we're in the real world. What you're doing is this.
Yeah. You're held back by your bodies. It's basically like at the beginning, you talked, Reese, about how, we inhabit these apes, these containers, and these people, these nonverbal ASD kids, like they're basically saying like, because we have our brains in these bodies and these bodies work and we give into our desires and things like that, we're distracted. And they're saying that there is so much out there that if we're not distracted by our bodies and what's going on around us and all these senses, that we get caught up in stuff, and they don't have that. They're seeing the world for what it is. We all talk about it. What goes on around us? What can't we see? What's in the spiritual world that we can't see? Who's next to us? Who's by us? Do we have a guardian angel? Do we, are our grandparents visiting us in our dreams? Are people that we love that have passed visiting us in our dreams? And these kids, they confirm all of that. They confirm it all. And they're literally these pillars of knowledge that we think are just these broken bodies that can be forgotten, but that we don't want to look at when we see them in a restaurant because it looks uncomfortable. And they want nothing more than for you to go up and be like, you're amazing. I know what's in there. I heard the telepathy tapes. I know what's in there. I love you. I know what's going on in there is rad. And that's where the connections start. They said that the root of telepathy starts with a connection of love and belief. And to believe in them and to show love towards them is where then they can start to connect with the impulses. And it makes me want to use words that, as a 48-year-old dude from Detroit, and you guys know, I don't use words like this. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful podcast. It's just gorgeous, the stories that you hear. And I believe everywhere. I don't believe there is one lie in the entire thing. I don't think there is one deception in any episode. I believe all of it. And there's something about, like, I feel like the Lord kind of squeezing my shoulder, saying like finally part of that story is being told as well. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You just, I can't help but every day tell Heidi about it. And she's like, I gotta listen. And I try and tell her, and I try and explain to her, and literally every 10 minutes, there's something monumental that hits home. It's amazing. You guys, you got to listen to it.
Yeah. I told Kara at the same time I told you, I was like, please listen to this. I'm so proud of you for just like checking it out, for doing that. And like, I'm so glad we could have this talk. I hope Kara does. Kara thinks she's an atheist, or she did at least when we met, but I've determined she's an agnostic because I think she believes in souls. But I'm like, you have to listen to this. I need to know what this does to you, because like for me, it's confirmation bias. Like there's tons of like, I already believe this. This is just like, oh, you're right. I feel Like, not just that I'm like, okay, what I believed exactly is right, because that's not it. I don't think we'll get that until we're there. But I think, like, hey, man, you're okay. Like, I'm getting that. You're okay. And this is true. Like, what matters is you are doing things in love. Like, do that. Be that. Love those kids.
Yeah.
This whole thing doesn't matter. Like, that is what is. This is just, like I always tell you, this is just molecules. It's not real.
Yeah, we are all molecules because we are in these bodies. They are half and half. They're a foot in the spiritual world and they're a foot on the planet in the world. And so they're that conduit of absolute, I mean, it's
Bro.
like the only word you can use is love. They're just a conduit of absolute love and truth that flows out of them. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
It is amazing. It was amazing.
I would say it's life-changing. Like the podcasts that I've listened to for the last 3 days, I have changed. It's changed me. It's changed the way I think. It's changed a lot of stuff, or solidified. You know.
Yeah, both for me. And I really want to hear what Kara has to say, because I'm like, it feels like our relationship is me just, I feel like I'm proselytizing a lot. Like, and it's not that. I'm just like, this is important to me. Like, you have to know this is why I'm this way. I feel like I was loved when I was unlovable. That, like, there is something here that I am loved by Jesus, like, immeasurably. That this God that looks out for the small people and like wants us to stand up to bullies and to feed one another and care for one another, and all of this comes from this. And I can't, like, I need you to get this about me. And I feel like this might be a real good gateway drug for that.
Yeah.
Or something else.
I agree.
I just want to know
agree.
what
I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
I love you, dude.
Love you too, buddy. This is great. Thanks for recommending that to me.
Yeah.
And I do want people to know, if you've been listening to the podcast, last week I asked about a Netflix documentary about a tornado in Joplin, Missouri. We have made contact with, I don't know if it's Cecil or Cecil. Cecil. We have made contact with Cecil, and he will be on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his story. We are supposed to record the Monday after Labor Day. So Labor Day, and then the following Monday, we're supposed to record with him. So stay tuned for that. Listen for that. That should be a good one too. But again, thanks for this one, Reese. This was a great, man, I'm going to go back and listen to it again. So
I am too.
yeah.
I forgot John Paul's name. So I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, listen again. So good.
All right, man.
All right. Love you guys.
Let's get out of here.